What's going on, guys? Steve V here with another video, and today I want to ask you guys a little question. To upgrade or not to upgrade? That is the question. And what I mean by this is, when do you take an old generation cabinet, say a Pac-Man for example, Gen 1, and sell it so that way you can get the newest version, upgraded version of a Pac-Man cabinet? So you take a game or title or whatever that you already have and basically get rid of it to basically get the exact same title, but maybe that cabinet has more games on it, a better form factor, light up marquee, custom riser, better controls. Whatever the reason is for you selling your older cabinet with that particular game, and then basically buying the exact same game with whatever else it comes with, what basically gets you to that level? I've done it many times. There's 3 cabinets in particular where I've actually done it 3 times to each cabinet. And to me, it almost seems like I'm borderline crazy when I really think about it. Because I bought 3 Pac-Man cabinets. I bought 3 Street Fighter 2 cabinets, and I bought 3 Mortal Kombat 2 cabinets in the span of 3 years. And to me, like I said, just hearing it out of my mouth, it makes me come off like I'm insane. But to you guys that are in this hobby and kind of know how Arcade1Up's been doing things, you probably completely get what I'm talking about and why I did what I did. So these 3 cabinets that I actually brought up are the 3 cabinets that I bought the first year that Arcade1Up was on the scene. The first cabinet I ever bought was the Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet, which I believe was a Gen 2 cabinet, but it seemed to kind of get kind of blended in with the Gen 1s. Kind of came out at the exact same time here in Canada. My first cabinet was the Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet, and then about a month or 2 after that, I bought the Gen 1 Pac-Man and the Gen 1 Street Fighter 2 cabinet. And I was in my glory. I mean, I had these 3 cabinets that I could only imagine ever owning in my basement. And were they perfect recreations of those actual arcade machines? No. I mean, all 3 of them had that same cookie cutter shape. None of them had light up marquees at that time. None of them had custom risers. I had to actually find risers for them. I mean, the buttons were not the greatest. The joysticks weren't the greatest. I mean, it was what it was at that time. But I think just the fact that we had some way to play these games in an arcade form, and also with the machine kind of looking like an arcade, even though, like I said, it wasn't exactly a replica of those particular cabinets, but it was an arcade. It was a little mini arcade. It was amazing, and it really just hit me in the feels. I was just so happy owning those cabinets, those 3 cabinets, and I really thought that when I bought them, Arcade1Up would basically think, you know what, like, we just put out these 3 amazing titles amongst other ones, and we'll let these guys enjoy these titles and kind of let them breathe, and we're going to come out with newer titles next year. And I thought that's kind of what the situation was going to be with Arcade1Up. Well, then about a year later, they announced a particular cabinet that was one of the cabinets I had owned, but it was a better version of it. And that was the 40th anniversary Pac-Man cabinet. It had a light up marquee, which mine didn't. It had a better form factor, which mine had the cookie cutter form factor. It had 7 games to my 2 games. One of them being Galaga, which is in my top 5. It had a custom riser, so it didn't have that ugly black riser that we just had to basically try to find, anywhere that we could find it because they were selling out so quickly. It actually came with a riser this time that blended with the cabinet. I mean, I couldn't believe it when I saw it. But the problem was, I knew if I wanted that cabinet, I would have to sell my old Pac-Man cabinet to bring that one into the Man Cave arcade. And I did it. And I didn't even think twice about it because number one, Pac-Man is one of my favorite games. Like I said, I had Galaga, another one of my favorite games. Light Up Marquee, better form factor. It was a no-brainer. But I thought, this is probably going to be the only time I really have to do this for a while. I mean, I can't see them, doing this again with some of these other titles because, they're big titles. They're just going to let people kind of enjoy them, and wrong. Then, within that same year, a little thing called the Black Series Capcom head-to-head table came out. And what that was it was a better version of the cabinet that I had. It had those 3 Street Fighter titles, but it also had a bunch of other amazing Capcom titles. Titles like Final Fight, titles like Strider, 1944, Ghouls and Ghosts. Just so many great titles. Commando. But it was a head-to-head form factor, and I've always been the kind of guy that I do enjoy the cocktail tables, but I've always been the kind of guy that prefers the vertical games on them because that's what I grew up playing on those tables when I was a kid. And it was kind of weird to see horizontal game on a head-to-head, but I just looked at my Street Fighter and I'm like, my Street Fighter only has 3 games, and three of these games are very similar. This Black Series head-to-head table, it's got basically what I wish the 3/4 scale one had. So I sold my 3/4 scale Street Fighter, and I got the Black Series head-to-head table. And then let's go to the Mortal Kombat here. So like I said, Mortal Kombat was my first cabinet I bought. No riser, no light up marquee, but I was happy with it. It was a Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet with Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. To me, you couldn't get better than that. But then, about 6 months later, I saw that in the States, they were selling this cabinet called the Costco Mortal Kombat 2 bundle. And it had a light-up marquee, custom riser, and a stool. Now, we didn't get that here in Canada, but we did get a lesser version where it did have the custom riser, but that was it. But that was enough for me to basically say, hey, I got to sell my Mortal Kombat to get that because I want that custom riser. I want it to match with my other ones now. So I did that. So at this point, within the second year of Arcade1Up's existence and my second year of collecting, I had already replaced 3 of my cabinets with 3 versions of basically the same cabinet, just in different form factors, different offerings. The Pac-Man had 7 games. The Street Fighter, I had the head-to-head table, and the Mortal Kombat 2 was probably the closest to being the exact same, but I had a custom riser. Then the Legacy Cabs came out. Once those came out, seeing a Pac-Man with the classic yellow side panels, 12 games, a Street Fighter 2 with the 12 games that were on the Black Series cocktail table. So finally, I was getting a Street Fighter 2 the way a Street Fighter 2 3/4 scale cabinet the way I originally wanted it. And then you got the Midway Legacy, which is the Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet with 12 amazing Midway games. Some games that we've never had on the cabinet before. Next thing you know, I got rid of all 3 of those cabinets at different times to basically get those 3 Legacy cabs. So all 3 of those cabinets were the 3rd time I had bought those particular titles. And yeah, I had an upgrade in my Man Cave arcade. 3 years, 3 upgrades, 3 cabinets. And yeah, I couldn't believe it. And every single time I would get caught up in the hoopla of having a better version of the same cabinet I had. And I would sell the cabinet to basically pay more money to get the exact same cabinet with just better features. And yeah, Arcade1Up, that's when I realized that what Arcade1Up likes to do is they like to rehash a lot of the same titles that they have already done if they know it sells well. And why wouldn't you if you know they're going to constantly sell, especially if you know they're selling to the same people that have bought your cabinets previously. I mean, FOMO is a real thing in our community, and a lot of us experience FOMO when we see these better versions of a cabinet that we own. So yeah, it's pretty crazy that in 3 years I bought 3 cabinets, 3 particular times, and I almost did it again with my Miss Pac-Man cabinet this year. They came out with the Class of 81. Now I have nostalgia for the Class of 81 because I used to see it, in the early 2000s, mid 2000s here in town. But I have more nostalgia and more of a connection to the standalone Miss Pac-Man art. So the 12 games really almost got me. I mean, they're 12 amazing Namco games that Class of 81 has. But I had to hit the brake because I just couldn't buy a cabinet that I wasn't 100% sure on. And the reason I wasn't 100% sure was the art. I just didn't want that half and half art. If I had an idea that knowing Arcade1Up's cycle here that I've been just talking to you guys about, I know that Miss Pac-Man will come out again next year. And it's probably going to be a 12-in-1, and it's probably going to have the standalone art. So I made sure to basically tell myself I needed to wait it out, because if I am going to buy a third Miss Pac-Man, I need to buy exactly the one I want, because now I'm trying to get my forever cabs. And you're probably shocked to hear third Miss Pac-Man, because I also did Miss Pac-Man twice. But the only difference is I actually kept the first Miss Pac-Man cabinet that I had over my second one. So I bought this Miss Pac-Man cabinet first. I got it off at Wayfair because this particular SKU from the States I wanted, and no Canadian retailer was selling it. So I after I bought that, I saw that they were coming out with a Miss Pac-Man head-to-head table that just blew my mind. It really hit on all cylinders for me nostalgia-wise, because it reminded me of one that used to be at Pizza Hut when I was a kid. So I bought that one as well. And that one had 10 games, I believe. And that was the only cabinet where I've ever had 2 of basically the same title in the basement. I had my 3/4 scale cabinet, but then I also had that cocktail table. But I ended up selling it because of space, and also, just kind of coming to the realization that it was kind of weird that I had 2 of the same titles in the Man Cave arcade. So yeah, so that's why when Class of 81 came out, if I were to buy that would be my third time buying Miss Pac-Man. But the crazy thing is, there will be a third time, because I already know that if they come out with a 12-in-1 Miss Pac-Man standalone, I'm going to buy it. And that's why I wanted to talk to you guys. I wanted to know if there was anybody else out there that is also in this cycle of buying the same title, just an upgraded cab, and doing it every year. Because I've been doing that, and I finally decided that next year is going to be my final year of doing that. I have about 8 cabinets out of my 11 cabinets where I've decided that they're forever cabs and they're not going anywhere. And 3 of them are the legacy cabinets. I cannot buy another Pac-Man. I can't buy another Street Fighter 2, and I can't buy another Mortal Kombat. I've told myself that, and I'm standing by that, because the Big Blue came out, and I didn't even think twice, because I was like, I can't buy a 4th Street Fighter. Even if it has Wi-Fi, I just can't do it. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Are you guys doing this upgrade thing like I'm doing? And do you guys have a stopping point of when you feel like enough's enough? For me, it seems to be 3. If I bought a cabinet 3 times, I stop at 3. I just can't do it again. It's almost borderline crazy. Even though like I said, we all understand each other, and we know we're not crazy, but it seems that way if you're talking to somebody and yeah, you tell them, hey, I bought 3 of this particular cabinet 3 years in a row. So yeah, so I'm stopping at 3. Like I said, my legacy cabs are here to stay. I will probably buy a 12-in-1 Miss Pac-Man standalone art when that comes out. But yeah, I've decided that I'm going to stop with a lot of these upgrades because I feel like it's time to just enjoy my cabinets and just breathe and really get the most enjoyment out of these cabinets instead of just constantly doing the chase, because the chase is always going to be there. And Arcade1Up, you know, they're doing what they need to do to keep people buying and to keep on bringing these amazing titles to new people every year, because people discover Arcade1Up, you know, at different times, different years, and some people do miss out on the Pac-Mans and the Street Fighters. So by re-releasing those titles that they know will sell, it's really, you know, given these people a chance to basically pick up these titles. But for us that have been in it from the beginning, we're seeing those titles for the fourth or fifth time, and it's like at some point you just got to decide enough's enough. And like I said, my legacy cabs are that for me. You know, enough's enough with those. You know, third time's a charm. I told you guys Miss Pac-Man's probably going to get replaced. I'm pretty sure if they do a 12-in-1 Konami cab with Frogger, I'll probably replace that one. But then after that, I'm stopping. I can't do it anymore. I can't buy the same cabinet over and over again. So now it's really just about finding the right fit for me when it comes to a particular game or cabinet and just enjoying it. And that's what I think next year is going to be for me. It's I already, like I told you guys, out of my 11 cabs, I got 8 that are not going anywhere. I've decided they're here to stay, even though there has been some upgrade versions of them coming out, particularly the Street Fighter 2 with Big Blue, but I can't do it. I'm just going to enjoy my Capcom legacy and yeah, just enjoy those games that are on there, and just breathe and not feel like I have to chase the next new cab. And you know, I'm going to stop paying attention to that flashy thing in the corner that, you know, is the last 3 years has been getting my attention, which is new. I'm going to ignore that and kind of just enjoy what I have. And so, yeah, that's what this video is about, is, you know, is there people out there? I know there are, but I want to hear from you guys. You know, are some of you guys doing the same thing I did or doing it now? And when's enough for you guys? When are you, you know, satisfied with the particular title or cabinet that you have? Or are you just going to keep on buying the next newest version of that cabinet? And if you are, you know, you're not wrong to do that either. Just for me, I think, you know, I'm kind of burned out from it, and I just want to kind of settle with what I have. But, you know, if you just kind of got in the game, you know, fairly recently, or you have been in it at the beginning, but you're fine, you know, constantly chasing the new ones, you know, that's fine too, and you do you. But yeah, I want to hear from you guys. Put it in the comments. Yeah, you know, Arcade1Up re-releasing these cabs, you know, a smart move on their part. And also, you know, for anybody that's new to Arcade1Up, you know, they get a chance to buy some of these titles that, you know, they've already come out with. But for us that have been in it for a while, yeah, are you going to always buy the newer version? I'd like to hear from you guys. Take care, you guys. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great day.